The weirdest Uber ride of my life. So this happened a few weeks ago, but it's been sitting in my head ever since, like a song you can't get out of your brain. It was a Friday night, and it was one of those evenings that felt both calm and a little eerie at the same time. The streets were quiet. Streetlights hummed. You could hear every little sound, a dog barking 2 blocks away, the faint buzz of a neon sign at the corner store. I had just left my friend's apartment after a late-night hangout. You know the kind. Too much soda, too much junk food, too much laughing at dumb inside jokes. I pull out my phone, open the Uber app, and order a ride home. Within a few minutes, a gray Toyota Camry pulls up. Totally ordinary car, nothing fancy, nothing sketchy. I get in, say a polite, "Hey, how's it going?" The driver gives me this small nod. No smile, no small talk, just nods. Okay, fine, some drivers just aren't chatty. Then it hits me. The smell. The whole car smells like cinnamon. Not like cinnamon-scented air freshener, not like a candle, but like fresh baked cinnamon rolls. Sweet, warm, and a little overwhelming, like walking into a bakery right as they pull the trays out of the oven. It was weirdly comforting. I lean back, buckle my seatbelt, and for the first few minutes there's just silence. The sound of the road, the hum of the engine, and that smell of cinnamon wrapping around me. Then, out of nowhere, the driver speaks for the first time. "Do you believe in coincidences?" I blink because that is not the question I was expecting. Sometimes," I say, laughing nervously. He nods once, eyes still on the road. "Good, because you're part of one right now." Instant chill down my spine. I glance at the GPS. Yep, he's still following the route. No detours, no shady turns, but suddenly I'm way more alert. "What do you mean?" I ask, trying to sound casual, but my voice cracks just slightly. The driver doesn't answer right away. He just keeps driving, like he's deciding whether or not to tell me. Then he says it. "I used to drive taxis in your hometown." I frown. "Wait, my hometown?" "Yeah," he says simply, "back before Uber was a thing." That gets my attention. I sit forward slightly. What was my hometown?" He glances at me in the rearview mirror and says, "Elm Avenue." And that's when my stomach drops. Elm Avenue is where I grew up. I just sit there for a second, staring at him, trying to figure out if this is some kind of creepy guess, or if he actually knows what he's talking about. Then he keeps going. "You know Oak Ridge Drive?" "Yes," I whisper, because that was literally the street I walked down every day to get to school. He chuckles softly. "And that gas station by the park, the one with the old soda machine outside that eats your change half the time." I swear my heart actually skips a beat, because that exact thing happened to me more times than I can count as a kid. "Okay," I say, trying to keep my voice steady. "How do you know all that?" He shrugs like it's no big deal. "I told you, I used to drive taxis there, picked up a lot of folks, learned a lot of streets." Then he says something that makes the hairs on my arms stand up. "I think I drove your dad once." I freeze. He keeps talking, casual as ever. "Guy was wearing a baseball cap with your last name stitched on it, same last name as yours." And that's when it hits me. My dad did have a cap like that, a dark blue one with our last name embroidered in white letters. He wore it all the time when I was little. I just sit there, gripping the seatbelt, staring out the window. What did he say?" I finally ask. The driver shrugs again. "Not much, talked about baseball, said he had a kid about your age back then." That's when my throat gets tight, because I realize this random man driving me home might have literally given my dad a ride years ago, back when I was still a kid sitting at home watching cartoons, not knowing this stranger even existed. After that, the car goes quiet again. The only sound is the soft hum of the radio and that ever-present cinnamon smell. I start thinking about my childhood, the park, the gas station, my dad's stupid hat. And then, weirdly, I start thinking about coincidences, about how many little moments in our lives might secretly connect in ways we'll never know. When we finally pull up to my apartment, I reach for the door handle, ready to just get out and shake this whole weird ride off. But then the driver turns around for the first time, holds out a small brown paper bag, and says, "For the road." I take it slowly, because who just hands you a mystery bag at midnight? Thanks. He gives me this small smile and says, "Small world." Then he turns back around, faces forward, and waits for me to get out. I step out, still holding the bag, and watch as his car disappears down the street. Inside the bag, 2 cinnamon rolls. Still warm. I sat on my couch for a full 5 minutes just staring at that bag before I even opened it. Then I finally took a bite, and I swear to you, they were the best cinnamon rolls I have ever eaten in my life. But even as I ate them, I couldn't shake that ride. The way he knew my hometown, the streets, the gas station, my dad's hat. Was it just a crazy coincidence, or something else? I still don't know. But I do know this, I'll never forget that ride. The day a subway full of strangers saved my phone. It was one of those subway rides where you can feel the weight of the entire city sitting on everyone's shoulders. Evening rush hour, packed car. Everyone swaying together, holding onto the poles, silently counting the stops until they could escape. I was doing what everyone does, standing there with one hand on the rail, my other hand holding my phone. Just scrolling. Mindlessly. Tired brain, tired body. And then disaster. I don't even know what happened. Maybe my hand was sweaty. Maybe the subway lurched at just the wrong moment. But my phone, my entire life in one rectangle, just slipped out of my fingers. And it didn't just drop. No. It bounced. Hit the floor once. Twice. And then slid across the carriage like it was running away from me, heading straight for the other end of the train. I gasped. Loud. And I swear, 10 strangers gasped with me. Like we were all watching a slow-motion scene in an action movie, the dramatic music swelling, the camera zooming in. My brain went into panic mode. All I could think was, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. I could already imagine it. My phone sliding under the seats, hitting some grimy piece of gum, disappearing forever into the black void under the carriage. I'd have to do the walk of shame at the next stop, crawling on the disgusting subway floor like a raccoon just to get it back. But then, the first hero appeared. This guy at the far end of the carriage stuck his foot out, not too hard, not too soft, and kicked my phone just enough to stop its escape and send it gliding back toward me. But the subway was still moving, so instead of sliding straight, my phone veered off slightly, like it was playing pinball. That's when the second hero stepped up. This girl near the middle of the car stuck her boot out like a pro soccer goalie. Perfect timing. Perfect aim. She trapped the phone under her heel before it could vanish under the seat. The whole carriage let out this collective, ooh, like we were watching a sports game and someone just blocked a goal. She bent down, picked it up with this look of concentration, like she knew this was an important mission, and handed it to the next person, who slid it across the floor toward me like a relay baton. I crouched down, stretched out my hand, and just as the train lurched, caught it. Perfect catch. The whole car cheered. Actual laughter, claps. I was holding my phone like it was a baby we had all just collectively saved. I swear, for a moment we weren't just strangers on a subway. We were a team. A rescue squad. I looked up and locked eyes with the guy who kicked it. He gave me a little nod like, my work here is done. The girl who made the goalie save just smiled, like this was not her first phone rescue. And I just stood there grinning like an idiot, feeling like we had all survived some great battle together. The rest of the ride was quiet, but it was a different kind of quiet. Like everyone was still basking in the glory of what had just happened. When I finally got off at my stop, this woman near the doors leaned toward me, deadpan expression, and said, "Take care of your kids." And that absolutely killed me. Because she was right. That phone is basically my kid. It holds everything. My contacts, my memories, my grocery lists, my terrible 3 a.m. notes that say things like, invent square watermelon. I walked out of that station, smiling so hard I probably looked unhinged. And the cinnamon roll of that moment, the thing that made it perfect, was that for 2 minutes, a whole group of strangers became a perfectly synchronized rescue team, united for one goal: save the phone. And it worked. It sounds ridiculous, but it honestly felt kind of magical. Like proof that we can come together as humans, not just for big, world-shaking events, but for tiny moments too. Even if it's just a phone.